Alrighty, let's go ahead and I'm going to turn my video on and we'll get started with prayer. Oh, Lord, thank you so much just for your mercy and your grace, Lord. Thank you so much for the times that we can see that when we're stressed and when we're starting new things. We're just thankful that you're sovereign and that you're in control of everything. Thank you for these teachers. Thank you for the families that are being brought to us, Lord. And we just pray that you will give us a smooth start to our year, that everybody will be wise in their decision making and in their teaching and in their managing of people. Thank you, Lord. In your name we pray. Amen. So how is everybody? Thank you for coming, and I'm sorry about the changes. I have a couple of dates that I'm going to add to the calendar, and we will not be changing those. So if you can't make it, it's okay. All of these recordings are posted for our teacher meetings. Totally fine. And yeah, if you can turn on your cameras, that would be great. I love seeing your faces, except for Michelle, who obviously has a disaster behind her. Oh, yay. Hey, Michelle. Our staff meetings, our teacher meetings are pretty informal. And so tell me this. What is the most exciting thing that you guys have done this summer? It has to be exciting. It can be fun exciting. It can be dangerous exciting. It can't be like cleaned my bathroom. Can you think of anything? I can start. I can tell you that, Nikki slid down Sliding Rock in North Carolina. Yikes. Broke a toe. 3 baby raccoons? Oh my goodness. That sounds really fun, Christine, and kind of scary too. Oh, the cheese factory. And I did. I knew you would type Palm, Jamie. That's really exciting. My most exciting thing this summer, you guys can't say anything. This is right between you and me and you guys, right? Is having a new driver. And I think that as I'm getting older, it's scarier. I don't know why that is, but driving with a new driver is a little bit scarier. Very nice. All good things. Are you excited about the school year? Next week, right? Did you all send your welcome letter? How many of you guys get nervous? I know that most of you are old pros at teaching. And I say old because I mean you've taught for a long time, not because you're actually old. I still do. I still get nervous too. A little bit. Always. Right? Turning on the camera. I know. It's really important that you look in the mirror before you turn on the camera. Otherwise, you could be surprised. The old system that we used to use had like a little preview where you could see yourself before you were actually on camera. And this one still doesn't. So excellent. So you all sent out your welcome letter. If you have sent your welcome letter, please go in and take the quiz if you haven't done that. Oh, you guys are all amazing. You know that. And if you haven't sent your welcome letter, please send it today and then go in and take the quiz. Remember that there is a sample welcome letter that you're free to use. Okay, so what do y'all do in your first class? Do you tell about yourselves? Do you give kind of an overview of what you're doing? What do you do? Go over how to do stuff. Great. That's good. Anything else? Do you show like pictures of your family, or what do you introduce yourself? Good. Good. How to navigate the classroom? Yes. Good. Pictures of the family, overview, syllabus, expectations. So that would probably be the really high, maybe not the most important, but really, really high on my list is that you introduce yourself and then you tell what you're going to be expecting of the students. So if you have a specific way that you want homework always handed in, I would start right with week 1 and I would just say, okay, these are my expectations. Your homework needs to be handed in this way. because if you lay them out at the very beginning, it goes much better than if you get to week 5 and then all of a sudden you go, wait, now I'm changing everything. Students don't like that. A couple of things is that you might want to record how to navigate the classroom ahead of time. Most of our students would have to go through that 4 or 5 or even 6 times sometimes if they are in every new class and every teacher goes through how to navigate the classroom. If you record that ahead of time, you can actually have time to cover content that first week. How many people use a recording reminder? I almost forgot today. Definitely. You might want to have a slide that says, remember to turn on the recording, or remind Mrs. Iverson to turn on the recording. I should probably have that on mine. And then remember to have a homework slide at the end with your expectations for what they do that week. How are you coming on your learning pages? Are you good? I did a check last week on everybody's and they look fantastic. I'm so excited about all of the learning pages because every one of you has like a little special thing that you do that is different from everybody else. So they're very similar in that you can always find things in the same place, but you all have added your special flair to your class pages and they look fantastic. They look really good. Changing dates, that's a huge chore, isn't it? Especially with that little glitch that we have with the from and the to. Any questions about your first class? Anything that you would like to ask seasoned teachers if you're new, or ask other teachers if you're not new? Yeah, the from and the to date should be the due date. They can be the same, but what the due date reads from is the from date. You can change them as you go. You don't have to change them all at once. Yep. Okay, dates for quizzes. Oh, Nikki, so what I would do, like you can do a couple of things. You can put the end of the semester for your due dates, but that's a little bit confusing. So actually what I would do is I would go through and I would go week 1, this date to this date, week 2, this date to this date. And then you can have all of those due dates be the night before your next class, and you can do them all at once. And the from and the to date, yeah, you can totally change it easily later on. Yep. The thing is, though, if you still have 2017 dates in your gradebook, then they're not going to show up in Power Teacher. So that's the only thing. So you can change them week by week, but just don't be surprised when they're not there. There is a video about that. There is. Any other questions? Okay. Now, so if you were with us let's talk about this first. So consistent communication is really key. And I just alliterated. Are you guys impressed? Use your learning page to put anything and everything that you would want your students to know. You can post announcements, you can post anything on that weekly page that, maybe you came across a video, maybe you came across something that relates to your class content that you want your students to see. Use those learning pages. Consider sending reminders for tests like, hey, your test closes tomorrow, don't forget, especially this first week, because those are really important things that the students are getting used to about you. And then it's always a good idea to answer your email in 24 hours. Do you have any tips for managing email volume? Any of you? Do you answer only at certain times of the day? Do you have your email open all the time? I do, Jamie. I do. And I can send that address out to you, or even put that on it's got a lot of stuff in there. I probably should go in and kind of clean it up, because I actually have like some teacher classes that have been edited and things like that. All the time, always open. Right, Amanda? I found that too. Mine is always open, but I do a lot better if I have a certain time of day that I respond. Good. Yeah, checking your junk mail is really important. Okay, so I wanted to say something about slides. You all do a very good job at slides, and you've all heard of death by PowerPoint, right? And yes, Jamie has the beacon, and we'll be posting that as well, so you can put it on there. So a couple of you guys, several of you have been a part of things for years now, right? And so you all remember the What Did Carrie Do Wrong? We're going to kind of continue that this year, but I'm going to have you guys do some things for What Did Carrie Do Wrong? Obviously, it won't be Carrie anymore. And so I'm going to start this week off because sometimes it's easier to get a bigger picture of what's wrong if it's actually done the wrong way than it is if you just tell people how to do it the right way. Does that make sense? So I want to talk just for a minute about your PowerPoint slides and putting them together, because I know that a lot of you are building new classes this year. And one of the things that I want to talk to you about is how to kind of be really good at preparing slides. So you'll want to prepare your slides ahead of time before your class and run through them a couple of times. I like to have a set of notes that I print off and follow. You could have these notes saved to your computer. Try to break your slides into one main idea or subject per slide. Try not to overwhelm your students with too much text. It also helps if you include frequent pictures, and this is for any age group, not just the little ones. It's helpful to schedule frequent breaks for interaction, such as whiteboards where the students can write what they have learned or game slides. And of course, the most important thing is to remember to limit your text. Now, when I flashed the slide up and you started reading and you realized that I was reading right from my slide, what went through your mind? Type into the chat what went through your mind. Right? Do not do that. Rather read a book. It's too much, isn't it? It is. And so when you prepare your slides, it's the same thing. It's much better to show a picture of a concept and to talk about it and to be interactive with your students than to go down even a list of bullet points, because that can get really old if you're just reading off your slides all the time. So pop up a picture, talk about it a little bit, especially like if it's about your family or about photosynthesis or any concept that you have. I would also give a math explanation, but I'm not very good at that. Yeah, if you have a list of bullet points, do a build where you add to the list as you go. That is a great idea, Jamie. Math does kind of take care of itself, doesn't it? Good. Any questions on preparing your slides? Oh, I like that idea. Jamie said she'd gray out the previous bullet and make the current bullet darker or a nice color. Yeah, that does help. And it does help keep the students' attention a little bit more. Very nice. Other ideas? Yeah, they can see the previous one and they can look back if they need to. Yeah, and it also allows you to have some interaction with the kids through the chat box. So just like what we're doing now, and you can kind of see what others are saying, if you're talking about something rather than just reading through a list, it makes it a lot easier to interact. So with that said, would you guys keep in mind what things could be wrong in a class? Yeah, Kelly, so that's why I always have like a list or a guide that is printed for myself for me to just follow. But it doesn't necessarily have to be something that the students see. Yeah, I know, like this, like bullet points where they can go over. Just make sure that you're not actually just going down through a list and reading it. You can have bullet points. There's nothing wrong with bullet points, but pictures always break things up a little bit too. So keep in mind things that could be going wrong, not necessarily things that you're doing wrong, but things that you could do wrong, because I will be contacting teachers to do like a little mini presentation with something that they're doing wrong coming up here for our next meetings. And I know you all have ideas, right? Yeah, speech class, definitely in speech class. Yep. I'm still trying to talk my husband into doing the one where we had a teacher who was on camera and her husband walked by in the background in his underwear. But Dan won't do it. He just won't do it. Here's a to-do list that you, yeah, right. So here's a to-do list of things that you should be doing if you haven't. Okay, so one is, and I won't read down through this because you guys can read down through this. I think almost everybody has their week one page posted. I think a lot of you have that updating contact information, and that's a video from our that's from our page in our teacher page that you can just copy and paste. And I think almost everybody has sent the welcome email. Good. Now, if you have filled out the W-9 information before, then you don't need to do that again. If you are a new teacher, you will need to fill out that W-9 information and send that information to Susan Dahlem, who is in charge of putting together our teacher payments. I'll send you a reminder email, but what you'll need to do is you'll need to send that invoice, and there's a sample invoice on our teacher page in our teacher class. So go ahead and even print that off. You can start pulling your numbers at the end of week one. So whatever numbers you have at the end of week one, you can plug those in. You can get it ready. If you're like, oh my gosh, I can never remember to do this. I'm at the end of week one and I'm going to do it now and I'm going to send it to her then. Go ahead. Go ahead. That's not a problem at all. So I'll send you a reminder email. You can send me the invoice. You can send it to me as early as the end of week one. I don't care when I get it. I just need to submit it. If you don't, there could be a delay in paying you, and nobody wants that. Now remember, when we are filling out those invoices to submit, you're going to fill out the invoice for the entire semester. So you'll be paid 4 different times for 4 equal amounts, but you'll fill that one invoice out for the entire semester, just one. There's a payment date schedule on our teacher page in Haiku. Yeah, nobody wants to be paid late, right? Any questions about that paycheck information? If you go to that page, it'll walk you through all of the steps if you're a new teacher, and it'll give you a template to fill out for your invoicing, and it'll give you all of the date information for when you'll be paid and when everything is due. Questions? Comments? Yes. The dates that are listed are the dates that they initiate it. So it usually takes about 3 to 5 days. You'll get an email that says Bright Ideas Press has initiated payment to you, and it usually takes about 3 to 5 days after that. And old teachers don't need to fill out a W-9 again, Amanda. Nope, you're good. Other questions? Okay, so there have only been, I think, that everything in learning is straightened out now. There were a couple outages for a couple of people earlier on in the week, but I don't think that that's an issue now. If you have some trouble, any kind of trouble, let me know. okay? If you get like a little error that says, we're working on this, or the little kitten that is with the ball of yarn, you can let me know if you want to, but it's likely that I already know. If you have any kind of syncing errors in your gradebook, like if you have errors that says like 19 red errors in your gradebook, it's likely a date problem. And so it's very likely that you just need to go back through and check and change the dates. And then just a reminder to make sure and set up the categories and the category weighting in PowerTeacher Pro. If you have a full year class, you'll need to do this for both semesters, so both the S1 and the S2. But you won't need to do anything for the F1, which is an average of those. So S1 and S2. And by category weighting, what I mean is, let's say you have 40% of your students' grade in based on tests and quizzes. You might have 30% based on projects and 30% based on homework, and you want to set that up to weight properly. You can do S1 and S2 right now. There is a screenshot on the teacher page if you want your Zoom name to be set up like Mrs. Michelle Glandon, yes. And it's really easy to do. F1 means, F1 does not mean full year. F1 means final, and it's the average between S1 and S2. So you're not actually, if you just have a fall class or if you just have a spring class, you're not going to see F1 at all. You'll just see S1 or S2. Questions about the dates, questions about how to set up categories, those videos are on the teacher page in Haiku and Learning as well. So take a look at the videos if you've forgotten how to do that, but also I'm happy to hop into the classroom with you and show you how at any point. Okay, did everybody get a file shared with them this week? Okay, good. So everything that I do, your teaching of your classes is considered a project because you're an independent contractor. And so periodically, because I'm Quest Tutorial and I'm not Bright Ideas Press, I will go through and I'll say, okay, are they actually doing what they need to be doing to make sure that their contract is renewed? And I'll check on those things. And so this last week I checked on everybody's page and I made sure that a syllabus was published, and I made sure that you had your contact information and that your classes were active. And so I sent you a little review of that, and hopefully everybody got it. And then I put it in that folder. And the folder that I shared with you is going to contain all of that information from any kind of review that I do. Now, unfortunately, there's no like way to set up notifications unless you use like a Chrome extension, and you can Google it if you want to, but it's not rated real well and people have a lot of complaints about it. So when I put something in there, you're not able to set up a notification that will just automatically tell you that I've added something. So like I did this week, I'll send you an email. I'll say, I've added something to your folder. Go ahead and take a look at it. I probably won't attach it all, but I'll send you an email that says that there's something in there and you can take a look. Now, the nice thing about this is when we do this through a Google Doc, you can make comments right on that Google Doc and say, oh, sorry, I missed this and I did it now. And it's all right there. And or you can say, I don't think this is my class that you reviewed. I did that once. So, and then I can change it if I need to, or I can update it if I need to. So that's how those work, just so you know. And that is all I have for you. I did want to show you one other thing. I wanted to show you where to find that payment information. So let me share my screen. Now, just a reminder too, that we have that parent information night tonight. It's for families. And if you want to attend, there's a link on the Facebook page. and you'll be able to hear everything that we tell parents, which is kind of nice for you to be able to know as teachers. Okay. Don't judge me for having all my tabs open. I have a lot of tabs. Can you guys see that? Yes? Good. Okay, so payment information is all the way down here where it talks about payment of independent contractors. So this has the dates. This has the how to get paid on time, which is always nice. And then up here at the top is the sample invoice. And you can download that and you can even start filling it in now. That's it. That is all I have for you guys, unless you have comments or questions. Nothing? I will get the, hang on a second. Good, I covered it all, huh? Cool. And I'll get those dates for our next few teacher meetings on the calendar. The only other thing that I wanted to tell you is if you're not coming to the retreat, I still have a couple of spots open. And so let me know. I can, Sharon. Yes, I can. Okay. Thanks, guys. Have a great first week and let me know if you have any problems at all, okay? Bye.